Steady and Dropping. This is my desk / studio tour for 2022. Alright, now let me preface this just a little bit. You see, to me, a desk evolves. Now, it's taken many years to build this whole setup, the setup you see behind me. I mean, some of the stuff I've had, like these Apple Thunderbolt monitors, 7 years, 6 years, 2022, and yeah, about 7 years. So, desks evolve depending on, well, your workflow and what you're trying to accomplish. I know minimalist is kind of the way to go right now. My setup is not minimalist at all. In fact, it looks a little, I don't want to say sloppy, but there's a lot of stuff here because I use a lot of stuff. So to get this started, we're gonna stay away from the desk for a second. We're gonna talk about the things that, well, aren't on the desk. Starting with what's right behind me. That is my Bachelor of Science diploma. I earned that from University of Mount St. Mary's, or Mount St. Mary's University here in Maryland. And it is a Bachelor of Science in Business Administration with concentrations in business finance and international business, commerce, and trade. So it's like a business and economics degree. On my right, there's also a shelf. You'll see some of the stuff kind of like right here. It kind of brings in the feng shui of what I like around me when I'm editing. You'll see there's like Star Wars and Power Rangers and Queen Alien. Fun fact, Aliens is actually one of my favorite franchises, I guess. 1 and 2. I do enjoy the other movies, but continuity, you get what I'm saying. So, I like having this stuff around me. Now, the things that aren't on the desk itself. Well, let's start with what I'm recording on. This is the Sony ZV-E10, and I'm using a VideoMic Pro and a OC monitor on top. And that's how I record my talking head bits that I do, well, what I call my studio, which takes up about a little less than half of my living room. Over here, which is making me sweat because it's always super hot, is my Neewer, N-E-E-W-E-R, Neewer LED video like light with a nice photo. I think it's a 32-inch softbox, a crate, so it just is more directional. And that is on a Neewer Century stand, or as they're known, C-stands, sandbagged. And this is kind of not a permanent fixture, but it is a fixture that doesn't move very often. To my left is like a non-named kind of video light. It's LED. It's a bi-color video light that goes from like 3600 to 6500 Kelvin. It's not bad. It does have a little magnetic cover that kind of help block some of the light. It's not quite a softbox, but it is kind of softbox. Now to the desk. The one directly behind me that you see, that's my sweetheart. That's my baby. Custom built PC. And I enjoy it a lot because I built this desk, this setup, the way I want it. So right here is running Windows 10 Pro. It is a AMD 2950X Threadripper 16-core 32 thread CPU running G.Skills 3600 megahertz or gigahertz RAM, 128 gigs of that. I have a ROG Strix 2080 Ti. I have two Samsung 970 Pros, which are the NVMe M.2s. One is one terabyte, the other is half a terabyte, so 1.5 terabytes of that. I'm also running two Barracuda, Seagate Barracuda hard drives. These are server grade hard drives, both at 8 terabytes for keeping all my videos. So the completed and the raw footage that I shoot when I'm shooting these videos. Now, all that awesomeness is in a Thermaltake case. I am running a Corsair H110i AIO for the CPU, all being pushed by an EVGA 90 plus gold 1000 watt PSU power supply, for those that aren't in the know. That is now pushing this Quad HD Samsung 49-inch ultra wide monitor that has that beautiful curve to it, and above that is a fairly cheap HP monitor. It's only 1080, but for what I use it for, especially when I'm using DaVinci Resolve, all the footage just kind of sits up there and I drag it down to the timeline and I see everything on the 4K monitor. So now, is the color accurate? Not the best, but for what I'm doing, it seems to work pretty good. All of that is, it's a lot, you know, it took years to build this. I am also running a Logitech G915 wireless mechanical keyboard. Wonderful, super fast type on. I love it. And I'm pushing in, for the mouse, I'm running the MX Master 3 in the black, which I found, I can only find at Best Buy. And I also have a second one, it's gray, that I ordered off Amazon. So take what you will from that. So this thing, this whole wonderful setup, it's taken years to build and it's cost thousands of dollars to do. This isn't something you can just do overnight if you're a regular Joe like myself. Great for video editing and for gaming. I'm also running 2 Sanyun monitor speakers for those video edits. That's what allows me to really hear good sounds. They're not great for music as much. I mean, it plays music, but it's better for the sound quality of the videos that I'm running, so I can, well, make those fine-tune adjustments that I need to make when it comes to the audio. This whole setup has been my main editing setup for the longest time. Now we're going to talk about this setup. This is my Mac setup. And this is what I record my audio with, what you're hearing now, because I'm using Logic Pro. This is the 2021 16-inch MacBook Pro with the M1 Max chip, 64 gigs of RAM, unified memory, 4 terabyte storage, 32-core GPU, and this thing's a beast. In fact, this little laptop renders as fast, if not sometimes faster, than my custom built PC. Obviously, it's running Mac OS, and I can run both DaVinci Resolve and Final Cut Pro. I tend to use Final Cut Pro on here because I also have like compressor, motion, Logic Pro. I'm pushing two Apple Thunderbolt displays that are only 1440p, but the colors are, it's, why get rid of something if it works really well? My third kind of monitor that I'm using is my 2020 12.9-inch iPad Pro. I have situated kind of down below both monitors. And this is also where I do all my thumbnails. So whether I do the video editing on the PC, the sound and the thumbnails come from the Mac, because I have Affinity Photo. I don't have that on my Windows machine. I don't feel like buying it again. The peripherals I'm using are the Logitech G615, which is also a wireless mechanical keyboard, but based more on the keyboards I grew up with. Remember, I'm a child of the 90s. This feels like home. It reminds me of the Macs we grew up with and the Commodore 64, that really tactile, mechanical feel that you just can't get anywhere else. I also have an Apple Magic Trackpad. I use that left-handed for zooming, for scrolling, it's kind of neat to use a mouse and a trackpad at the same time. It works really well if you're able to do it. And I'm using the gray MX Master 3. The MX Master, it's just, I can't give it enough praise. This setup is what I've been editing a lot of my videos on here recently, because I'm trying to get better with Final Cut Pro, because I've gotten pretty good with DaVinci, especially when it comes to making my own little like subscribe buttons and stuff like that. So just trying to learn the two different NLEs, non-linear editors. So that is my basic desk setups. Now my camera is sitting on a small rig, desk monopod, I guess, best way to put it. So I'm able to do these talking heads. And then I have a mic situated just below it. It's a Neewer shotgun mic that goes through XLR to the Scarlett 2i2. That feeds into the Mac, and that's where I get my sound from. And honestly, I think it sounds amazing. For Scratch Audio, I'm still using the Rode VideoMic Pro, and that's how I sync everything up. And that is my desk tour. You know, when I first started video editing, I had just a small MSI 15-inch laptop that kind of did, actually, scratch that. I actually started video editing on an 11-inch 2018 iPad Pro using the Fusion software. It did okay, but then I bought a old MSI gaming laptop off a buddy of mine that had like a GTX 1080 in it, and it did good, but a render would be 45 minutes. I could upload faster than a render, and that was like a 5-minute video, 5-minute 4K video. Now, the machine behind me can do a 4K render with all the little add-ons and the color grades, all the little attributes to audio and visual that I add to it in about 4.5 minutes, 4 minutes, 3 minutes, 3.5 minutes on a full 5-minute video. The Mac last night, 1:58 for a 7-minute 4K video with all the bells and whistles added, color grading, and all the fun stuff. That's pretty crazy. But I think because it also does a lot of background rendering, so it's hard to compare apples to apples if you're using Final Cut versus DaVinci. So if you guys are interested in a video on DaVinci Resolve versus DaVinci Resolve, drop me a comment down below, and I will be more than happy to bring you a video like that. I might just do it just for the fun of it anyways. Sorry guys, that's my desk tour. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you soon. Peace.